On this episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, I welcome Jared Staege to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. From a standout multi-sport career at Waunakee High School to finding his path through multiple universities to becoming the WIAC Men's Basketball Player of the Year at the University of Wisconsin-LaCrosse, Jared's story is all about trusting the process, chasing your passion, and putting in the work. If you're a student athlete wondering whether to take the next step, this is your blueprint. This will be a good one. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is up wherever you are, whatever you are doing? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at Survive and Thrive 8791. You can follow the podcast and get access to previous videos on Facebook at Survive and Thrive 8791. The podcast, don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you listen to the show. Leave me a comment if you like what you heard. If there's a topic or you know a guest who would love to share their story, email me at tdecora@gmail.com. Our mission is to share stories and conversations that make you cry, laugh, and think, stimulating emotions, creating laughter, and inspiring the mind. A new episode will air on Monday and Thursday morning featuring a wide range of guests. The podcast will touch on many subjects such as, but not limited to, grief, loss of a loved one, recovery, professional setback, mental illness, success despite challenges, etc. Our guests will share how they learn to survive and thrive. Before I introduce our guest to my left, if you're looking at us on Spotify, it's to my right. I'd like to highlight our website, surviveandthrive8791.com. You can see what we are doing at Survive and Thrive 8791 and the events we are focusing on or hosting. If you're a business or an advocate for mental health and recovery, we invite you to partner with us through sponsorship opportunities. Please contact us at surviveandthrive8791@gmail.com. This is our guest and episode intro. And according to the internet, and the internet is always right, correct, Jared?
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Well, in my house, I don't need the internet. I don't need Alexa. I don't need Siri. I don't need anything because I've got my wife, and she's always right.
That's well said.
That's well said. According to an AI artificial intelligence overview, approximately 53,000 high school basketball players, and this is of the 540,000 who played in high school, get to play college basketball in the U.S. About 19,275 men and 16,651 women playing in the NCAA as of the 2023-24 season. The overall odds of a high school basketball player competing at any college level are around 3% for men and 4% for women. Today's guest did just that, as well as myself, but it took a while to get there. So today I welcome Jared Staege to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Jared grew up in Waunakee, Wisconsin, and attended Waunakee High School and is a proud Warrior. After high school, he would take his talents to the University of Minnesota, University of Eau Claire, before joining the University of Wisconsin-LaCrosse men's basketball team, where he enjoyed an extreme amount of success, helping the Eagles to their first Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference championship in 51 years. As a result, he was voted Player of the Year in 2016. He's currently project manager for the Digital Ring and JV boys basketball coach at his alma mater, Waunakee High School. Today, I'm so glad you could join us. Jared Staege, what is up?
I'm living the dream, TD. Thanks for having me.
Living the dream. This is a great opportunity for us to catch up. Former student athlete at Waunakee High School, and I had an opportunity to work with you a little bit in the weight room, on the football field, and always considered you one of the good ones.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate that, yeah. So how has the fall treated you so far? We're recording on November 11th.
11/11. Fall's been good. It's been very busy. Love watching my football on Sundays. Getting my son, Freddie, into that as well. So enjoying that. Didn't make it to the apple orchard this year. A little disappointed by that. But,
how about the pumpkin patch?
No pumpkin patch this year.
No pumpkin patch, no apple orchard.
No, strictly football and hoops, getting ready for the season here.
I know you are. So what have you been doing? Speaking of basketball, that's going to start Today we're on a Tuesday. It'll start next Monday. High school boys basketball, girls started yesterday. What have you been doing to get ready for the upcoming season?
Yeah, it's every year for me, it's been continuing education, listening to a podcast called Basketball Immersion, listen to that a couple times a week. I am obviously doing preseason meetings with all of our coaches, fine-tuning the things that we're going to be doing this season. And fortunately, I coach with my brother too, so spend a lot of time with my older brother as well.
I was going to say, who is your wingman? Who is your assistant? Who's the guy that's going to pull on your coattails to sit you down and get you away from the officials?
Well, this year it's going to be Michael Janusik.
Michael Janusik, okay.
Yep, he's sticking around with the JV crew. This will be my first year doing JV, so I'm going to have to learn a little bit from him maybe.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to follow. I follow Waunakee still. My heart is there, even though I'm retired. Certainly following you and then Tyler with the varsity. So before we get to your story, I need to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor, Buck and Honey's Restaurants, are a place that people can escape to. For me, it's a great escape from cooking dinner. Do you cook dinner?
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Okay, what's your genre? What's your style? What's your cuisine? What do you like?
See, I don't know enough about food, but we do a lot of fish in the house. So
a lot of fish.
It's a lot of salmon primarily, some tilapia.
Tilapia is the bacon of the sea. You know that, right?
Now you're talking my language. Yeah.
My mouth is watering.
Mm-hmm. And then, we'll mix in the Mexican dishes, a lot of taco meat, a lot of chicken. We'd like to do meal prep stuff on Sundays. Some meal prep stuff, try to eat once or twice together with a nice home-cooked meal, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with their great food and drink menu, 5-star customer service, and a welcoming and vibrant atmosphere, people keep coming back. With locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, and Mount Horeb, most communities in Dane County, which encompasses the Madison metropolitan area, can get to a Buck and Honey's within 10 to 15 minutes. Drum roll. Very acoustically sound.
That did sound good.
Table. Have you been to Buck and Honey's?
I've been to Buck and Honey's, yes.
What is your favorite? Do you have a favorite meal when you go?
When I go to Buck and Honey's, it's the Boom Boom Shrimp Pizza.
Boom Boom Shrimp Pizza.
Yeah. Is it Boom Boom or Bang Bang?
I think it's we might have to look that up.
Yeah. If you ask my dad, he would know. Teddy Ballgame does not mess around with
we should know, because when we go to a Badger football game now, I think, or a Badger basketball game, they have the sprint. So with the Bucks, with the Brewers, they have the sausage race, and with the Badger football and basketball, they have the shrimp race. So they had a shrimp from Monona, Sauk, Mount Horeb, and Waunakee, and I'm always pulling for the Waunakee shrimp, but we digress. On the podcast, we talked about. In segment 1, we talk about what was it like. So we get into Jared's history and what happened to get Jared on the podcast. And in segment 2, we continue to talk about what happened and get into what it's like now. And we discuss Jared's 5 suggestions for thriving. So you grew up in Waunakee, Wisconsin. What was life like growing up for you in Waunakee, Wisconsin?
Yeah, it was an amazing childhood. I was blessed, I had an older brother, a younger sister, mom and dad, always around, very active, a lot of sports in the house, pretty much at all times. We were lucky, I think. It was a small town when we moved in, so our house was built, and across the street there were houses, and then it was all cornfields. And there was one lot, the McMillan's lot, was open for a number of years. So that was some of the best wiffle ball I've ever played in my life, with the cornfield outfield for the home runs. Yeah, that was a blast. But no, it was amazing. Ton of time, biking to friends' houses and just enjoying being Waunakee and around friends and family.
So tell us about your family growing up. You already kind of mentioned them a little bit, mom and dad, and then you got a couple of siblings.
Yeah, so mom, Karen, has been a teacher at Prairie Elementary School for, I don't know how many years
right now. Right in Waunakee,
Yep, right in Waunakee, getting close to retirement maybe, help out with the kid a little bit more. No pressure, Mom. And my dad has been around working IT for pretty much his whole life. I don't think he'll ever retire. That's something that he loves to do, working with people, talking to people almost all day and problem solving. Also coached me growing up, me and my brother, both football and basketball, as well as my sister. So he's always been around the game. And he's been a real influence on me in my collegiate and sports life.
Sure.
Older brother Ryan, very similar to me. Always wanted to be him growing up. He's a great athlete.
He was.
He was a great friend. And we maybe didn't get along so well when we were younger. Older brother, younger brother type of relationship where He beat on me pretty good when we were
You get
younger.
roughed up once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Rightfully so, probably. You deserved it.
I earned many of those, absolutely. And, I knew how to push him too. And I wanted to test myself every once in a while, which failed more often than not. But yeah, that relationship really grew once he went to college. I started to realize maybe I'm not so silly or dumb as I look. And those two things are both true. So yeah, our relationship has been great ever since. And I mentioned it earlier, I feel super blessed to be able to coach with him. Been coaching with him for, 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, it's crazy how that evolves, where you had kind of that love-hate relationship growing up, and then he goes away, and then you go away, and then all of a sudden you have a lot more in common than you thought you did before, and then when you got to lean on one another, it's kind of common practice, yeah.
Right, yeah. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, right?
It does.
Something like that. And then Cece, my younger sister, is amazing. Been around, been an athlete, been a competitor as long as I've known her. She didn't have it very easy growing up with me and my brother as older brothers. So she was always pushing, always wanted to be great. Still an absolutely hard worker, and just a blast to be around.
And her last name isn't Staege anymore.
It is not Staege. It is Jens. That
Jens.
guy's an okay
Jens.
guy too.
He's a good guy too.
Definitely one of the good guys.
What's crazy is that he reminds me a little, now that I think of Ryan Jens, he reminds me a little bit of the two of you. He's a little bit tall, a little lean. He's got the dark hair, and yeah, sometimes you, as a son, you end up marrying somebody that looks similar to your mom, and then kind of the same thing goes along with maybe a sister ends up marrying somebody who is similar to what she grew up with. So,
yeah.
Good stuff. You have an amazing wife and a soon-to-be 2-year-old. Tell us about those two.
Yeah, so me and Hannah, we've been married since 2020, COVID wedding.
Yeah, you know what Hannah spelled backwards is, right?
Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Is she Hannah with an H though?
She is Hannah with an H. It's a true Hannah. We don't believe in the other Hannahs, no. So yeah, we've been together for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, COVID wedding. That was insane. Went from about, 240 people down to a 50-person wedding, which was amazing. Ended up, again, being a blessing and something that we look back on with super fond memories. Basically just our closest friends and family as opposed to, yeah, exactly.
It seems like weddings now that I've been to have been mostly small, intimate weddings with like really tight, close friends and really tight family. And even sometimes aunts and uncles don't even make the cut. But but then again, I was just at a wedding that it was 300 people. So, yeah.
But yeah, we have looked back on that with the best memories. All the best, closest people in our lives. It really felt like one of those special moments that maybe wasn't supposed to happen, but it did happen for a variety of reasons, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Hannah's a rock. She takes care of everything. She lets me coach, which is a serious time commitment. She spends a lot of time alone, spends a lot of time taking care of Freddie during the basketball season.
The life of a coach's wife.
Yes. And that conversation happens every year. Can I coach? Am I able to coach again? I gotta check that box every year because she does so much, and super grateful. And don't know what else to say. Don't know what else to say other than she's taking care of business.
She's dynamite. And then the little guy.
Yeah, Freddie. So Freddie's been around for about 2 years, 2 months. He is a bundle of joy, and we're very blessed. He's been a good sleeper his whole life. So me and Hannah have been doing okay for ourselves. Hasn't always been perfect. A lot of ups and downs, particularly with the pregnancy and all that on the front end. But since then, he's been amazing. Loves talking. Right? I mean, right now he's running all over the place. He's constantly talking, which you could take that as good or bad depending on how long you're around him. Repeating everything, so we got to be a little careful at home. And picking up and playing with just about everything. Baseball, basketball, golf. He's just constant energy.
So you graduated from Waunakee High School, and you're a proud Warrior. And what were some of your favorite non-basketball, because we're going to get into the basketball in a little bit, but your favorite non-basketball memories from high school? Go ahead. Yeah,
sticking with sport, the one that pops into my head right away is playing baseball my senior year.
I love the story, but go ahead.
Yeah, me and another friend, Travis Verbrook, who I'm still tight with today, he's out in Ohio now. We're trying to get Jacob Soper, our other tight friend, to quit. He said, hey man, come on, this isn't for you. Come hang out with us. We're going to just have a really fun
Big first
spring.
baseman, pitcher, right?
Yes. Yep.
Soap Daddy,
as he's known by. And we wanted him out. We're like, come hang out with us this spring. We're going to have a great time. And Soap Daddy, his parents would not allow it. So I think I looked at Travis one night and I said, should we just play baseball?
Should we join him?
And we did. And it was, you'll hear about all my basketball stuff later, but it was a fantastic experience for me. I had no pressure to perform really. I was there solely to bring energy, kind of be a glue guy, chew a lot of seeds, talk a lot of smack. And when Will Helbing would take his helmet and whip it off the ground or off the fence when he struck out, I was there to put the pieces back in it for him. So I had a few jobs that I took very seriously.
Mm-hmm. And teams and good teams need that. And it was probably a little bit of maybe a concern and worry for Coach Spencer. But then really that goes away real quick when he knows he probably knew what kind of guy you were, or maybe talked to Coach Rice, or I may have talked to him and said, absolutely take that guy, because he brings so much ahead of the being able to catch a ball or hit a ball. He would be great. And yeah, that was so cool that when I heard you were going out, it kind of made me smile a little bit. And I'm like, wow, can't wait to see what happens here.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was so fun. I don't know if I provided any baseball insider knowledge to any of those guys or coaches, but I'd like to think we were a young team, right? We had Willie Frymuth, Alex Vagley, Will Helbing, who I just mentioned. A lot of young guys. Hopefully I taught them a thing or two about life and the way to live it.
Or at least being a good teammate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after high school, you would take your talents to the University of Minnesota. Then you would venture back across the border to Eau Claire before joining the University of Wisconsin-LaCrosse men's basketball team. Tell us, before we get to the lacrosse stuff, tell us about, why Minnesota and then why Eau Claire. Go ahead.
Yeah, why Minnesota? Honestly, I wanted to get away. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it on my own. I had a lot of friends, many people in my class going to UW-Madison, and I think it was more of a challenge for myself. I knew I wasn't going to be playing sports. I was looking for the next challenge, and the next challenge to me was, can I get away a little bit and survive this on my own? Now, was I truly on my own? No, because Soap Daddy followed me out there, or maybe I followed Soap Daddy, and we had Jay Adler out there too. So there was a couple Waunakee guys out there, that I had when I needed them, and we're obviously still very close today. But for me, it was validation that year, being out there and doing what I wanted to do, surviving.
Let me ask you a quick personal question.
Yeah.
Did you put on the gold and the maroon ever?
I played in the barn a few nights.
You did? Okay.
I was lucky. I knew there was a kid from Middleton, Aaron Katsuma.
Okay.
He was a manager up there.
Oh, all right.
So he would do some runs during the season, after the season. So he snuck me in the barn a few times. I'd like to think I shot it pretty well. I think if the cameras were running, I might have got a call. But yeah.
Okay, the other question then is, if you were in the gym, did you dive for any loose balls? I hope not, because you got that elevated floor.
I did not slide off the court. No. I was tempted. I'm a charge guy. I took a lot of charges in my career. I was tempted to take a few in the open runs, but that's kind of frowned upon, as you know.
So you spend a year. Were you at a year in Minnesota?
1 year.
Twin Cities, and then you decided to come back across a little bit closer to home. University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. Mm-hmm. What was the lure? What was the draw there?
Yeah, so I had gone to Minnesota with the intention of getting into the business school, being an accounting and finance double major. Didn't get into the business school, and said, okay, I know what I want to do. I want to do accounting and finance. Can't do it here. Got to find somewhere else to do it. And throughout that year, the itch to compete kept crawling back.
And sometimes you got to scratch that itch.
Absolutely. Yep. I found myself having a lot of dreams of, forgetting my cleats or my shoulder pads on a Friday night and getting to the, Warrior Stadium and Coach Rice asking me where my stuff was. I don't know.
It's on its way.
Yeah. I don't know if he was trying to tell me something through my dreams, but yeah, so it led to an opportunity when I was in high school. Eau Claire football coaches had contacted me and were recruiting me. I didn't think it was the right choice for me at the time, so I turned him down, but knew my brother was there. And my brother, me and him he was a senior when I was a freshman in high school. At that time, kids weren't necessarily getting moved up like that, nor do I think I was ready to get moved up as a freshman anyways, but I never got to compete with him. Mm-hmm. for any serious type of event or team. And for me, I just really wanted to do that. Again, maybe, ties to the family. And another piece there, Austin Getch, another Waunakee guy was there, and it had a prominent role on the team. And it kind of felt like a good opportunity for me, right? Get to live with my brother, play with my brother, something I've always wanted to do and never could do. And I knew I could continue to pursue accounting and finance.
So you then start making your way closer to back home, and we're going to talk about that a little bit here. So because our listeners want to hear the rest of your story and what brought you to the podcast, and you talk about our sponsor one more time. Buck and Honey's has been with the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew since the beginning, with 4 locations in the Madison area. One is always near. People ask, why Buck and Honey's? Owner Tom Anderson places a high priority on the mental health of his employees. He has a mental health professional available for them should they need support. I don't know how many businesses go above and beyond their EAP, Employee Assistance Program, but Buck and Honey's does. Jared Staege is in studio with us today. Jared would wind up at the University of Wisconsin-LaCrosse, and while he was there, the Eagles enjoyed some enormous success. Jared would also achieve an honor not many get an opportunity to earn. We'll hear all about that after a short break. Please stay tuned. Don't change that channel. You're not going to want to miss segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. We will be back.
If you, a loved one, or someone you know is experiencing a physical, mental, or emotional crisis, there is help and resources out there. Contact NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, at 1-800-950-6264. This is a free service providing information, resource referrals, and support to people living with a mental illness, their family, providers, and the public. United Way 211 is available 24/7, 365 and offers free confidential assistance. They connect people with the local programs and services that can help. Dial 211. Emergency Crisis Services, dial 911. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline, dial 988. To connect via web, chat, visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Along with those numbers, there is help. You just need to say 3 words. I need help. Now, back to the show.
We are back. Welcome back to segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Tim DeCora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. The podcast is where we feature guests who share their story in hopes of helping others who may be struggling with what life throws at them. Today, I'm glad to be joined in the Buck and Honey's remote studios by a good friend of mine, a former student athlete, Jared Staege. He's here to share his story and how he navigated through the early years of college life before following his heart and scratching that itch and playing college basketball. I'm going to ask you a couple questions here, and I want to see what you think. You already knew they were coming, so you had a chance to think about your answers, but it kind of always gives me the tingles a little bit, especially when a former student athlete goes off and enjoys some success and gets an opportunity to play, whether it's football, basketball, golf, tennis, whatever. It makes me feel good to know that they've done well. You did extremely well, which is really, really cool. And you know, whether you know it or not, we brag about you. We brag about you a lot. So when I mention this sentence or say these words, 2016 WIAC, and the WIAC is the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, made up of Whitewater, Platteville, Oshkosh, Stevens Point, Stout, River Falls, Eau Claire. I don't know if I missed anybody, but the small schools in the Division III schools in the state of Wisconsin. 2016 WIAC men's basketball champions. What does that mean to you when that rolls off my tongue?
It's a good question. And you only asked me the question a couple minutes ago, so I haven't had a ton of time to think about it. But it's a great question. I think for me, the first thing that comes to mind is the end of a journey. And I think about how I got to lacrosse. We were talking about me being at Eau Claire. That year football happened. I kind of realized I didn't love football, right? Fell out of love with football. Didn't fall out of love, but my brother was leaving the school. That was the reason I had gone there. And I knew deep down basketball was what I wanted to chase. That has kind of been always my first love, especially in sport. And I wanted to, that was a stone that was unturned. And I don't think I could have not lived with myself, but I think I would have had a hard time looking in the mirror as a 33-year-old man right now, wondering what could have been if I looked back. And so one day in the spring of my sophomore year, I emailed Coach Ken Koelbl out of the blue. Didn't have any relationship with him, never met him before in my life. And
he's a great guy. I mean, before you met him, I would have said, do it. Ken Koelbl, if he's Coach Koelbl, if you're listening, you're a great guy.
He is a great guy. He's a great coach too. And I emailed him out of the blue and I said, hey, this is who I am. This is where I'm from. You can talk to Coach McKenzie if you need any background. I haven't played ball in 2 years. You guys have open tryouts? I said, yep. We got about three or four spots and about 25 guys trying out. I said, okay, I'll be there. And I think I put my transfer papers in the next day and just kind of took a leap and jumped. And obviously it pays off. You asked me what that means to me. That kind of brings me back to that moment, a leap of faith, something that I knew in my gut was the right thing to do. Had no idea how I was going to do it. Had no idea if I was still good enough. Had no idea if I was, my athleticism had stayed with me. Just quite frankly wondered if this was still right for me. But I went in, I dove in head first and basically made myself commit to two things at that moment because I knew there was limited spots and it was going to be extremely competitive. One, I'm going to be in the best shape of anybody there. Even if they were on the team last year, I don't care. I'm going to spend the summer working my tail off. And when I get there in the spring and we have conditioning, I'm going to win every drill. And number two, I told people I was on the team, even though I was not on the team. I had to convince myself in that moment. And if I didn't, I don't think I would have committed to what I did. Because that summer was insane. I was working a job on a distributing truck, Wisconsin Distributors out in Sun Prairie. I was waking up at 2 a.m. and I would work on this delivery truck around the state of Wisconsin from 2 a.m. until 2 p.m. I would get home. I would go to the gym and work out for 2 hours, and I would go to bed at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And I knew if I didn't get that workout time in, it wasn't happening. And so that summer for me kind of solidified in my mind that this might be kind of a lonely journey. I knew I had a lot I had to overcome to catch up after being out of the game for so long. And I knew I wouldn't be able to, spread as wide of a net, continue maybe contacting or talking to as many people as I had. Not that I was going to cut them off, but I knew I had to make sacrifices or choices to get what I wanted, right? And so won all the sprints, made the team. That was great. And, as I'm imagining after we won the WEAC championship, I think Koelbl gave myself and one of the other seniors a mic. And there's a ton of people in the gym expecting me to say something great, and I couldn't tell you what I said. Thank you, Abidjan. Thanks, Coach.
51 years.
Yes. Yeah. And so that moment, and I think about that summer all the time, and I think about my first year at school once I made the team. I didn't expect a whole lot. I knew I would just have to put my head down and work, build good relationships, obviously do what Coach tells me. And it was different for me. I was on the end of the bench. I knew I probably belonged there, but it still didn't feel right. I had a lot of hard nights thinking about, why am I at the end of the bench? I think as a competitor, I thought I was ready. If you would have talked to me as a senior holding that mic, trying to give that speech after the conference championship, I would have told myself, you're not ready, right? But I think that's something that, D3, even all of these guys are the best players on their high school basketball teams, right? The difference is usually size or length or skill or speed, right? And you're competing against great athletes. Frankly, I just wasn't ready. But that was hard I struggled with that, and it took a while for me to understand. You got to go through this. You got to put in the time. There's guys here that have put in the time. There's guys here that know how to play the game, and you kind of got to get through that. And then my second year, I built, towards what I wanted. It was a really hard year. That second year was really hard for me. We were not good. The first year we were good, so I could at least kind of,
It was okay being on the end of the bench because you were good.
Exactly. I had nothing to complain about because we were winning games, we were playing well, and down the stretch, thanks to some injury, not luck, but injuries occur. Academic stuff goes on. I kind of snuck my way into the sixth man, and I played a big role in the last game of the season. So I kind of felt like, okay, I'm building momentum towards this. We've got a great team. This is amazing. Had a really good spring. And that second year, we lost probably 3 of our best players. Another kid quit to pursue acting, who was our best player. And so there was just a huge void, quite frankly. And we didn't have any leadership from the players, and it showed on the court. And it was frustrating. I was playing. I had worked myself into the rotation, getting good enough minutes, but we started slow. I started slow, and those same doubts kind of creep in, right? It's like, man, what happened from last year to this year? Why are we struggling like this? Why am I struggling like this? I've never struggled like this playing. I knew once I got on the court I'd be okay, and it just wasn't seeming to translate, right? And you just wonder, and then, things are going on with the team. You get pulled. Does coach hate me? What's going on with all of this? And so that year challenged me. That year challenged me greatly. But by the end of the year, I don't know if this was just luck or what happened, but I found this YouTube video, this Steph Curry video. It was, a story about him in high school, showing up to the gym. It's all the best players in the world, or the best players in the country that are high schoolers, and Steph Curry was there an hour before everybody else. Steph Curry stayed an hour before everybody else. And there was 2 quotes at the end of that video that I ended up writing on a note card and putting in my room that I saw every single day and kind of, gave the old wall tap to. And that was, success isn't an accident, it's a choice. And are your habits today on par with your dreams for tomorrow? And for me, that was a daily challenge for me every day, right? You wake up, you hit the card, and then you wonder, are you doing what you need to do? And quite honestly, after I saw that video, it kind of brought me back to the mindset I put myself in when I came to lacrosse. It's like, hey, I'm on the team. I'm going to be the best conditioned. When I hit that card, I said, I'm going to be the best player in the conference next year. I'm going to be a leader on this team, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get us there. Obviously, fast forward, a year, and we did it. So that was a really long answer to that question, but
I like it. Sometimes when I'm listening, I'm wrapped into, you're talking about the first year and being on the end of the bench and questioning yourself, and then you talk about the second year and the third year, and I'm listening to the journey because it's really about, I've had other guests on here and they talk about, their time in the end of the season and raising the trophy or winning the championship, and really it's about the work you put in. It's about going and doing stuff with your teammates outside of basketball or football or whatever. I really like the fact that you blind faith, I call it sometimes. You put some blind faith in Coach Ken Koelbl, and he brought you along, and consequently you helped one another out. Mm-hmm. And then painting yourself in a corner and saying, I am on the team. Then you got to back it up. And I know a lot of people that don't back it up, paint himself in the corner, and then just start walking through the wet paint. Mm-hmm. You didn't do that. You held firm, and then you put in the work, and you got after it. So with team success sometimes comes individual success. And what does 2016 WIAC Men's Player of the Year mean to you? Coach, you shouldn't ask that one.
Yeah. Something I'm not good at. An admitted weakness of mine. Maybe not a weakness. I'm not good at talking about myself. I don't like talking about personal accolades.
You're going to get to an age, and I'm at that age now where I'm not bragging about what happened or what occurred, but let me tell you a story. It becomes a story.
Yes.
And this is so historic because I don't know that we've ever had an athlete go on in the WIAC, in the WSUC long time ago from Waunakee that became a state player of the year, college player of the year. I'm pretty sure that's never happened. And you achieved that partly because of the success of the team.
Yep.
And I'm going to shut my yapper and let you talk a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So if I had to give you an answer, and I'm probably going to push it away from myself again, but validation, right? We talked about the blind faith. We talked about a ton of time in the gym, working out, preparing myself both physically and mentally thankfully to that, kind of Steph Curry video, that I feel like those quotes on that note card got me over the hump.
And Steph, if you're listening, you made a huge difference in Jared's life.
He absolutely did. And, you win that award, and it's great. It's validating. It validated everything I did and all the work I put in. It validated my doubts, right? It validated, like I said, cutting off some relationships or, lessening them to pursue this goal. It validated, it just validated everything, right? My family's belief in me, my coach's belief in me, my friends' belief in me. And it showed, again, if I go back to that conference championship night, I probably had 30 or 40 people from Waunakee there, coaches, friends, and again, guys that I maybe hadn't talked to a whole lot in the 3 years leading up to that point, but knew what I was doing. And for one reason or another, whether it was because we played and won state championships in football in high school, we played hoops together and got to state semifinals in high school, just had a good relationship with me for some reason. A lot of guys showed up that day that I didn't expect. And it was validating. So I think validating is the right word, and it's not something I did alone, right? Great teammates, great family, great support.
Absolutely. I think that wraps it up, and I don't think you need to go much farther than that. I mean, we could spend an hour just on that alone of what you did to get there, break it down into when people weren't watching, what were you doing, and then how were you leading the team, and when it was your turn to talk about leadership, what was it? Because I think all of those would make a huge difference in its own episode. So we may have you back to talk about what it was like to be the leader of a team that won the conference title for the first time in 51 years. And then with that came that individual success of being the player of the year. Now, it took a lot of work on your part to achieve that. Certainly you talked about the physical work, but let's talk about the mental work. Might have been the biggest hurdle. And since the show has a mental health component to it, what were you experiencing? I mean, you talked a little bit about putting your name and signing the transfer papers. I mean, kind of give us a synopsis of what was going on.
Yeah, and I could start this story way back too, and I'll keep it brief, but performance anxiety is something that I have dealt with my whole life. I can remember my grandpa coached at Pulaski, Hall of Fame coach for high school boys basketball.
One of my favorite people of all time.
Awesome
Grandpa
guy.
Kessley.
Yep, rest in peace, Grandpa Fred. I can remember being in his gym for 3-on-3 as a third grader, and my body physically being sick or feeling ill to the point where I couldn't play, or I took myself out because I was so, scared, fearful, anxious. And in third grade, I don't know why that would be. If I had to guess, it's because my brother was really good and successful, and I wanted to live up to that. I didn't want to let my parents down, didn't want to let my teammates down. And that was something I've always dealt with. Even to this day, I show up for a game as a varsity assistant, and I want to do well, right? I want to do my job. I want to make sure I'm supporting Coach Selk last year. I want to make sure I'm supporting our guys where they need to be. And I think that's just a part of my life right now. I've learned a lot of tools on how to deal with that over the years. You think about, like I said, the Steph Curry quote. You think about taking a deep breath. It's okay. It's going to be okay. If this is the worst thing that happens to me today, is I get a little anxious before a basketball game, I'm living a pretty good life, right? And my mom, I can't remember when she told me this, but it's like, how do you feel when the game starts? As soon as the jump happens, I was like, I don't know, I just play. And she goes, exactly. So keep that in the back of your mind, right? It's like, you're going to be anxious before the game. It might be because you're excited and you want to play, right? It might be your body gearing itself up, getting you ready to go. And the more I thought about that over the years, it's like, it's a reframe. I'm reframing it in my mind. I could say, I'm scared, I'm fearful. But over time, it turned into, I'm getting ready. This is my body telling me it's time to go.
It was kind of like a mantra, and it's so spoken so well by a Hall of Fame coach's daughter, that just being around Grandpa, Coach Kessley, and she didn't play for him, but she lived in his house. Mm-hmm. And he's coach speak all the time at the dinner table, in the car, out in the driveway, mowing lawn. And he knows it or not, she's picking up on some things. And that's incredible. So you talked about some of these anxious moments. Fast forward to making some of those tough decisions to go to lacrosse, to play, to sit on the end of the bench. And then maybe you're going to be a senior now, and we're asking you to, Jared, you're going to be the leader of this team. We need you now. How are you coping with that stress? I mean, you referenced the Steph Curry quote already, but if you think back, what else were you doing?
Yeah, honestly, I was keeping my head down, putting in the work. I knew I couldn't lie to myself at the end of the day. I could tell myself everything is good, everything is going to work out. I'm going to be a great player, all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, the work is what dictates the outcome, and the game respects what you give to it, right? And so as a basketball player, I just wanted to keep working. I wanted to keep working. And when I had bad days, I had my support system, right? I had my friends, my close friends. I had my family members. I had my teammates. I had my roommates, guys that I knew I could trust and believe in, and could be vulnerable with, quite honestly. And I'll be honest too, a lot of it I was alone, just wrestling with it in the gym, in the weight room, running hills, doing things to honestly try to take my mind off of it, but things that I knew would get me where I wanted to go. And was it lonely at times? For sure. But I think any journey like this where you're pursuing a goal as lofty as, breaking a 51-year conference championship drought, taking yourself from a guy who hasn't played competitive sports in 2 years to an All-American, you're going to have to make some sacrifices, and it might be a little lonely. And I learned to live with that, and I'm lucky enough to have such a great support system that they were able to get me through it.
Yeah, you got ahead of us a little bit, but I'm glad you talked about the support, because everybody needs a strong support system. I had a Dr. Rupashaw here in your chair a couple of weeks ago, and she had to go through some things mentally and anxiety, and she said, I had to go in internally and come up with the answers, because I'm the only one who can control how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and other people can help me. But yeah, in those times where it's just you in, at the bottom of a hill, and I'm going to run another hill, or I'm going to take another 10 jump shots. It's just you, and sometimes you gotta be your best motivator.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about what you are doing now professionally. You're the project manager at the Digital Ring. Mm-hmm. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so I've been there, it'll be about 6 years now, out of college. I told you about the accounting and finance thing. I studied my butt off to try to become a CPA. I took the first exam. I took the audit exam. I think you need a 75 to pass. I got a 74.
Ooh.
I got an offer to work at Epic the next day. I said, screw that. I'm going to go make some money. So the accounting and finance dream kind of died that day. Obviously great skills that I still keep within my personal life, but yeah, I worked at Epic for 2 years, and now I've been loving the Digital Ring. Like I said, it's been 6 years. Don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon, and it's a small little family. Whereas at Epic, it was, it's 10,000 people, and you're a cog in the wheel that they replace when you leave. And the Digital Ring has been about 25 people for as long as I've been there, and it's a small family digital marketing shop, and I run our development arm. So develop a lot of websites for people, custom applications, and yeah.
And then you're coaching the JV boys basketball team at your alma mater, mm-hmm. Waunakee High School, and you've been an assistant now 1 or 2 years at DeForest with a former teammate, mm-hmm. Eric Stewart, Coach Stewart. You were with him for a year, and then you jump on the staff at Waunakee High School, varsity staff, with Tyler Selk took over for Dana McKenzie and needed some assistance. I know they like to have that, almost a 1-to-1 ratio of coach to player over there.
Something
so they
like
pile of assistant coaches. So you're on the varsity bench last year. Now you're going to run your own show, essentially. Mm-hmm. You're together, but you're not. And so talk about what kinds of things you're going to do and with the JV boys.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's a big step in the right direction. I've wanted to be a head coach for a number of years now, just like my playing career, I know it takes time. I know I got to learn a lot. And luckily at Waunakee, I've got a couple great ones to learn from in Tyler and Blake. And obviously Coach Knatz, who's retired. Great career. Mm-hmm. Big shoes to fill on the JV team for myself here.
Big little shoes to fill.
Something like that. So for me, I've been promotedly demoted, which makes no sense.
Promotedly demoted.
That's right. A promotion in responsibility, a demotion kind of in title from varsity to JV. But I can't wait. I'm super excited. I think it's a great opportunity for me, one, just to kind of be doing my own thing. Of course, we have our philosophy and our principles that we're going to run at every level to make sure my guys are ready to be varsity athletes when they get there. But I'm going to control a lot of the narrative, at least how it's communicated. I'm going to control talking to parents, which I'm excited to get back into. I haven't had to do that for a few years, which I haven't been mad about either. I like just focusing on basketball too, but I also understand that being a head coach comes with more responsibilities than just coaching basketball, right? So for me, that's a great opportunity, and I can't wait. I can't wait to work on our guys. Luckily, Tyler is super bought into the mental side of the game too. We do more pre-practice meetings, pre-game meetings that have some sort of mental element to them than anything I've ever done in my career. And, we're going to talk about this in a second, I think, but part of what I'm doing, I'm becoming a mental performance coach, and I want to inject some of that for my guys to help them not only be better athletes on the basketball court and football or whatever sport they're playing, but also in life after sport.
Yeah, what's crazy is I heard somebody mention years ago and recently and maybe last week that athletics and playing sports and really probably doing a lot of other things that involve physical and mental stuff, it's all 90% mental. It's up here 90%, and then 10% is the physical and stuff. But talk about positive performance certified mindset coach. Say that 5 times as fast as you can. No. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a certification I've been working through right now to become a certified mental performance coach. And for me in the short term, it looks like helping the Waunakee basketball program, right? Helping educate the guys about their mind, kind of like I talked about. I know I'm not the only one that has performance anxiety. I see it in the locker rooms. I saw my own teammates deal with it. Let's just talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. Let's acknowledge it. It's real. But like I said earlier, let's reframe it, right? I could think about my performance anxiety and say, oh man, I'm scared. Coach is going to take me out if I make a mistake, so on and so forth, right? My parents are going to be mad at me if I play bad. A million bad things could go through your mind. Simple reframe though. My body's getting ready. This is my body telling me it's go time. I'm locking in. And there's so much more to it, right, than just coping with performance anxiety. It's setting good habits, right? Think about practice. What do you do in practice? You practice the things you want to work on in the game, right? You warm up for practice. We don't really warm up our minds for practice, do we? We don't really talk about, outside of these meetings with Coach Selk before practice, we don't really practice our minds, right? And so for me, it's giving the guys the tool, pre-practice routine. Let's get your mind right. 3 minutes, something really quick just to kind of lock in. A separate pregame routine, make sure their kind of hype levels are at the right spot. Especially in basketball, you don't want to be necessarily at a 10 running through a brick wall, because if you are, especially in our system running the Princeton, you're not seeing the court, you're not making the right reads, you're probably crashing the offensive boards pretty hard. But that's maybe not exactly where we need you, right? So getting in the right headspace, the right kind of hype level, an in-game sort of routine, ritual, mistake ritual. We're all going to make mistakes. As a coach, I'm going to make a mistake. As a player, you're going to make a mistake. Let's have a routine. Let's have a word that can get us back to neutral, right? Let's forget. Let's move on. We can't ignore the past necessarily, but we can control the future. And when the sooner we get neutral, the quicker we can move on past the mistake. And then post-game evaluation, right? What worked for me? What didn't work for me? How can I improve in the future? What can I maybe talk to coach about something? And so those tools, right? Pre-game, pre-practice, in-game, post-game, that's the same in life, right? I go into meetings now and I use these tools. What do I need to be ready for? Get my mind right for the meeting. Who am I talking to? How do I need to talk to them? Go through it. Make mistakes. Learn from it. After the interview, talk to my employees, get feedback. Talk to my clients sometimes, get feedback, and continue to improve, right? So it's setting up kind of these tools to be like, one, you're going to make a ton of mistakes in your life. in sport and in life. 2, as the coach, I promise I don't care. Maybe I care a little bit, but I'm not going to take you off the court most likely, and I'm going to encourage you to work through it because you're going to run into challenges in your life after this that you're going to have to work through. And then 3, just continuous improvement, right? Let's be ready when we make a mistake. Let's be ready to move on, and then let's be ready to evaluate and get better next time.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about things we learn from, you and I are cut from the same cloth. We played football. We played basketball. You did that 1 year baseball. A lot of the success outside those sports, outside those 2 sports, I was able to use things from those sports to make me successful in my professional career, in my role as being a husband, good teammate, being a leader, father for my kids. You can apply all of those now, but you're giving these kids a head start mentally for what you may have struggled with when you left home and went to Minnesota and then had to go to Eau Claire and then went to LaCrosse. Some of these tools you wish you would have had. All things being equal now, Waunakee's always going to do well. You're going to do really well with the mental performance part of it, about thinking about the pregame, during the game, and the postgame. But I guarantee you there's probably 2 or 3 other really good coaches in our area that are doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I think you being on staff is going to help the Waunakee program get through some of those bumps in the road, and they're not even physical ones, they're the mental ones. So I really like that. That's good stuff. This is where the subscribers, followers, and listeners take out the notebooks, pens, and pencils and jot some things down. And I'm going to guess you have, those of you that are listening right now, have jotted a ton down because Jared has shared quite a bit. But here are Jared Staege's 5 suggestions that have allowed him to survive and thrive, chasing the dream of playing college basketball. And here's what you shared, and I'm going to toss these in underhand softball style. You can hit a softball, right?
It should be easier than a baseball, right?
Should be easier than a baseball, but it's coming in a lot slower. But we're going to hit these in about 60 seconds or less, and I'll read what you sent to me, and then you answer. So Perfect. The first one, number 1, here's what you shared. Number 1, trust the process, chop wood, carry water. Go ahead and hit that.
That's right. Chop Wood, Carry Water. It's a book I love. I read at least once a year. I give to many of my players just a simple story of short stories, encouraging you how to work through the process, the ups and downs of life, and fall in love with the process, not the outcome.
That book is in my bookshelf. So I've got that book as well. I need to get into it. Number 2, search for purpose / passion. Evolves over time. Be the best basketball player, and you said I can be, best husband, father, and develop as many young people as I can, both physically, mentally, for life after sports. Go ahead and hit that.
Yeah, so finding purpose and passion, I think I see a lot of, not only the players that I coach, but even people my age that are lacking it. And you can usually see it in their eyes, or it's a lack of energy, or they're not getting out. Find something you're passionate about. You listed those things. Mine have changed over time, right? Be the best basketball player. Now it's be a great father, husband, and like you said, impact as many of my young players, young men, young athletes as I can to be prepared for life after sports. So find something you're passionate about.
Number 3, control your destiny by controlling your emotions / response. E + R = O. Mm-hmm. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond, which sways the outcome. Our feelings are not facts. Go ahead and hit that.
Yeah, it's an equation that I read about post-playing career. I think it applies. I would have applied great for me playing. E + R = O. Events are going to happen to us. That's the E. We can't control that. R + R, our response, things we can control, right? Coach yanks you out of the game. You have 2 choices. Coach hates me, right? As one thought. Another thought, coach is taking me out to get a break. I need a rest. Right? And that drastically affects the outcome. So to get out of a negative mindset, reframe your response, create your destiny.
Love it. Number 4, build great relationships. Many shallow relationships versus few deep relationships. Lean on your deep relationships. Go ahead and hit that.
Yeah, kind of like I talked about earlier. It's really easy to cast a wide net and think you're friends with everybody, especially in the age of social media. I think now people need these tight small groups of relationships more than ever. Have deep conversations with a few people and lean into those people when you run into tough times.
And number 5, have fun. Life is too short. Totally agree. Tell us about that.
I don't have a whole lot to add, man. Life is fun. Enjoy it, right? We only have so much time on this planet. Love the people you're around. If you don't love the people you're around, find new people. Find a new passion. Do what you need to do to have fun.
Well said. What an episode. I'm so glad you could join the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew today. Your story and how you kept chasing your dream and working hard is inspiring. Truly is. Your approach to life reminds us all to have coping skills or mental health tools in the toolbox when a coach is met with the life's challenges and a former player. By what you're doing to prepare for the upcoming season should prepare yourself and your team for success so that you and your players can survive and thrive the season. I was about ready to say the long season, but in basketball, and I don't know if you know this or not, but basketball is never long enough. Unless you are the state champion, it's never long enough.
Agreed.
Our call to action, Jared Staege just shared his story and how he's navigated college life early to become a successful college basketball player, as well as now coach. Here are Jared's 5 suggestions to survive and thrive. Number 1, trust the process. Number 2, search for purpose and passion. Number 3, control your destiny by controlling your emotions/response. Number 4, build great relationships. And number 5, have fun. Life is too short. Final thoughts as we close another great episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. Are there any final thoughts? Jared Staege.
I don't think so. Thank you for having me, TD. It's been a blessing.
It's been great. And I think somebody who has been taking notes or somebody's going to pass this on and say, hey, you got to listen to this young guy. I mean, he's going to be a great high school coach, head coach somewhere. But listen to him because he's got a lot of passion. He's got a lot of information to share about all of these things, not even basketball related. Plus, you've got the basketball mind in terms of what to do, the skill development, the offense, the defense. But now you're adding that other component of the mental game, which is probably bigger than what we really think. Mm-hmm. Amazing episode. On our next episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, we will have another amazing guest in the Buck and Honey's remote studios who will share how they learn to survive and thrive. If you have a story to share or you know someone who does, please reach out to me at tdecora@gmail.com. Until next time, hang in there with whatever you happen to be going through, and with hard work, dedication, and determination, you can survive and thrive. Until next time, take care.